For people who haven't heard this horrendous situation before, just explain how these Ukrainian children are being forcibly removed to Russian territory.
Basically, the deportation goes in two ways. One situation when we talk about the orphanage houses, where children are basically taken, all of them, or directly to Russian Federation or deeper to occupied territories, for example, to Crimea. And another thing is while we're talking about children who mostly have parents, when they are so-called evacuated, but this is not the evacuation at all, because they are forced to go to these re-educational camps. They use special buses to put them in these camps, and in these camps they're separated from their parents. They don't have possibility to go back home and to be with their family. And the main thing that in these camps is happening re-education, and in some situation also militarization of children. So children are stuck in the or deeper in the occupied territories or in the territory of Russian Federation and even in Belarus, and they don't have possibility to be with their family and to go to their homes or to their safety regions in Ukraine. This is why it is important that even if parents allows their children to go to these camps, there is no real consent, because parents don't have this safety possibility to go to Ukraine and not to go to the Russian Federation.
I mean, this is a tactic of war being used by Russia. We said in the introduction 20,000 Ukrainian children have been effectively kidnapped this way. How many are united with their families once more? We've heard stories of some Ukrainian families travelling very long journeys to recover their children from Russia. How many are managing to do that?
Now the number which we have is a little more than 300 of children. So, and this is cases when parents, mostly parents, go themselves to the Russian Federation to take their children. So we still don't have the procedure to return children which parents couldn't go to the Russian Federation and couldn't take them. And this is a lot of cases. For example, this is cases when parents don't have enough money to go to the Russian Federation, when parents have other children with whom they should stay, when parents are male who have basically a lot of more risk to go to the Russian Federation. First of all, they have a lot of complex to leave Ukraine because of the martial law, as men doesn't allow to leave Ukraine. But even if they will get a special permission from Ukraine, they are much more at risk in Russian Federation because they are male. And also this is a situation with parents who are serving in Ukrainian army. They are also in the huge risk, because I think a lot of people already knew what is happening with our militaries who was captured by Russia. All of them was tortured. So this is actually the situation of fear, and this is actually a situation of trying to destroy Ukraine as a nation itself, because our children is our future. And what Russia is doing by deporting children and by brainwashing them is trying to erase their identity and trying to make from Ukrainian children Russians. And Russia doing this not only with the deported children, Russia is doing this with the children who are stayed in the occupation. And this is more than 1 million of children who basically also don't have possibility to not to listen to Russian propaganda, because the main propaganda goes through the school curricula, not through some extra school activities.
So for those children living in occupied territories at the moment, that's the message that is being fed to them on a daily basis through schooling. I just wonder, of the children that have managed to be reunited with their families, what sense are you getting about the conditions they're being held in? I mean, you talk about these re-education camps. Clearly that in itself is horrific. But are they well looked after? I mean, are they fed? Are they loved? Do they feel like they're safe, or are they frightened?
The condition wasn't the best because this is the camps, and a lot of them are basically summer camps, and children was taken in autumn. So you could imagine that these camps are not made to have children for so long, not in the period in summer. Another thing which children are talked about who was returned is how occupied powers threaten them in these camps because they had to stand up when the Russian anthem was turned on. They had to stand up when the Russian flag was turned on. They have to listen to this propaganda, and when they denied to stand down, for example, they was punished, and not was punished the one child. The whole group was punished if only one child declined to stand up. And in this situation, while they was tried to speak, for example, Ukrainian, or try to argue with the teachers who told them about this rightful mission of so-called special operation and so on, they also was punished. And in some cases, the boys was even threatened to be beaten. So this is not the conditions which is, as Maria Lvova said in her interview, aims to protect children and aim to act in the best interest of the child. That's not at all about this. This is actually the conditions where children, if they not goes with the Russian rules, they will be treated as people who goes against the system, and they first of all they will be mentally punished and put a lot of mental pressure on them. But if they decline, they could be even beaten. And we heard from children that there was some places to which children of the older age was taken and was